Hello, this is Andy, the RPG Relic Hunter, and I am going to answer Tim's 13 RPG questions today. So I've got them up on my screen. So Tim, buddy, Simba and I, we got your back, Jack. Alright, first question. Can you please describe in detail any negative situations that have come about in your life because you played RPGs, where you bullied, belittled, made fun of, told you were going to go to hell? Okay. Well, not so much bullied or belittled. I guess people would make fun of me for that in high school when I was playing, but I was told to go to hell rather recently. Actually, since making my YouTube channel, it was my first hater. I was pretty excited to get a hater, and he disliked all of my videos and left scathing comments everywhere about how I was going to hell. YouTube was nice enough to delete all his activity and block him from my channel. That was nice. What skills do you think you have personally improved upon by playing RPGs? I would say my math skills for certain. Um, Probably my critical thinking skills, being able to think outside the box, improvisational acting skills, and being able to talk to people, and really being able to make up stories on the fly. Um, I think those are all skills that RPGs have helped me with. Who introduced you to RPGs, and what was your first experience like playing them? In Boy Scouts, when I was in middle school, the older kids were playing Dungeons and Dragons First Edition. I really wanted to play. They would come up with all these crazy quizzes that I had to get right every question, or I wouldn't be allowed to play. It was basically just an excuse not to play with me. So I'd sit there and watch them, and if one of the scout leaders came by and asked, "Oh, is everybody playing that wants to play?" I'd say no, and they'd be forced to play with me, which was fantastic. I was like, "Oh, this is great." Um, just being able to play, even though they were just trying to kill me. Uh, what was your first experience like running a game? First game I ran, again, I was in middle school. I still didn't have anyone to play with because unfortunately, I didn't have any friends as a child until high school. So we were on a family trip, and I had the book, and I was reading the book, and I was explaining it to my uncle. And he said, "Well, when's the last time you played?" Oh, and I said, "Well, I've never been able to run a game." And my two uncles played with me and my mom, so three siblings were my players. And I made up a story that was very rules loose, but I loved it. And they liked, we're stuck in a car, so it was something to pass the time. So that was my first game I run with my mom and my two uncles. Uh, what was it like designing your own system? I've worked hard on designing this one system that I just don't think is going to come together. Uh, I wanted to do this thing with skills that kind of like expand, get more and more specific as you go, but um, it's frustrating. It's frustrating trying to make a system that you like that's simple. And it seems like every system out there has pretty much been done, so it's really tough to do that. What was it like making your own setting? I love making settings, especially with the player characters. Like I like to have their character done and then make the setting. I even did a video on a setting I did. But yeah, making your own setting is great. You can make all the NPCs, the world. Sometimes I'll make a setting not even planning to use it. Um, why do you think tabletop RPGs are not known about by a good many people in the public? Oh, okay. Why aren't they more popular? Well, I'd say RPGs are a fringe game. You gotta be pretty dorky to be down with RPGs. Also, there's never been a big movie, but I would say since The Big Bang Theory came out, I think role-playing games are gonna get a pretty big resurgence. They did several of their shows where they're playing role-playing games. People can see kind of how it's done, um, which I think is great for the hobby. So I think I think we're coming into an age where geek is chic, and we're going to see a lot more of that coming around. Okay, what is an RPG and why are these games fun? What is it? Okay, so a role-playing game is a storytelling game where one person acts as referee for the game, playing all the non-central characters and the antagonists, and a group of people play the heroes of the story, and together the entire group forms the story. They use um, agreed upon rules and have an enjoyable storytelling experience. It's fun because you're creative, you're making up a story. I think it's something that is just visceral to being a human. You know, from a religious standpoint, Jesus told stories, parables to people because they understood them. You tell a story together, now you have something that you share forever with those people, and it's kind of like an inside um, joke type of thing. If you're going to teach a new player how to play RPGs, how would you go about doing that? I have infected many people with the RPG bug, I will tell you. And I used Vampire the Masquerade for the most part because the system's easy, very rules light, people understood it, and I just played the same game over and over again. The night you become a vampire, and then some of my other friends would play existing vampires, showing people the ropes. Got dozens of people to try it, and several people to pick it up as a hobby, which was great. I love bringing new people in. In fact, I'm doing that Saturday. I'm going to play Shadowrun 3rd Edition with people that have never played role-playing games. 2 people that have never played role-playing games, 2 people that have never played Shadowrun, only played D&D, and then myself and a very good friend of mine is going to be running the game. I love just spreading the hobby. I think it's a great hobby, and lots of people I would love to see do it. What age group do you think plays these games more than other age groups? So there's a time element. You need free time. So I would say, it's a hobby a lot of high schoolers to college students have. It's not expensive. You buy one book and you can play forever. So, as you get older, I gotta be honest, my kid's more important than role-playing games or YouTube. I don't even play video games anymore unless they have a pause button. So I'd say younger people with more free time are down with that, and LARPing and all that stuff. What overall benefits do you think a person that plays RPGs has that perhaps a non-gamer wouldn't have or would have less of? That is a fantastic question. I should have watched your whole video, Tim, before making my reaction video. That's a fantastic question, actually. I would have liked to think more about that one. However, I would say there is a healthy feeling of first, almost like gambling, like risk when you're playing your character and taking life or death situations. You really invest in that character, and just like when you invest in a pet. Now, I'm not saying I have a dog, so I'm not saying um, my role-playing characters are as close to me as my dog. However, I invest in my dog. I teach him tricks. I invest in my character, and I feel a connection there to this alter ego. I think that's a healthy display of creativity. Other people that are watching, Desperate Housewives to get that, is just not as healthy in my opinion. You're not exercising your brain, you're just being spoon-fed someone else's life. Well, here you're getting to kind of make choices that you may never have made, or really experiencing something in a story environment that I think is very therapeutic. So hopefully that answers number 11. Number 12, have you ever seen an RPG session break into any violence, or have you ever seen with your own eyes people becoming more violent after playing RPGs? In fact, kind of yes. I saw in college, I had this friend who is a little weird and a little antisocial, and things didn't go his way for his character, and he threatened people kind of like in a weird antisocial way, and we stopped the game, and I took him home, and I went back to the guy's house that ran it, and we talked for a while, and that ended the group. But he was very much, his character took a hit Forget what it was, but yeah, that was bad. Um, and I've seen people in LARPs get stupid and hit people in the head and all sorts of just lose it stuff. So yeah, I mean that's there, but that's specific people. It's not like I don't think the RPG caused it. I think that person's unstable. Those people are unstable. In fact, I still think that person's unstable, and I don't hang with him anymore. Okay, and last question. Do you think RPGs are still seen as much of a negative thing as they once were? Definitely not. Um, Being a church goer, I did bump into someone that thought Dungeons and Dragons was of the devil, and I said, why? And he didn't know. He just steered clear because his church had told him to. I think that's something from the 80s. Uh, I love the propaganda. I want to do a video on the propaganda from the 80s on role-playing games. I think it would be really interesting. Um, but I think since the Big Bang came out and Geek is Chic now, I think all that stuff's becoming a little more cool. And do I think saying, "Hey baby, I got a level 12 paladin" is ever going to be a pickup line? No, uh, not at all. But I will say that when my wife and I were just dating, I did get her involved in we were playing Rifts, and she played Dragon Hatchling and had a great time. We played over the course of 2 years with friends of ours. So I think that as things like the Avengers movies become great and more like Lord of the Rings is a great example of a movie that really makes role playing easy to transition to. I think you're going to see more and more of it, and it's going to get a more positive light. So there you go. Tim, thanks for these questions, and I promise I'll go back and watch your whole video. I literally stopped on like minute 1.5 because I'm a terrible friend. But cool, man. I hope this helps you. Catch you later. And remember to play like the dice are trying to kill you, because they are.